So we're going to continue with our discussion with Dom and Steven. So for me, sometimes I watch interview videos like for Google and Amazon and Uber. They give them a problem and they have to solve the problem, right? So some of them are more of design, conceptual interview, and these guys come quickly with a quick way of using caching and modern design concept to solve a problem. And some of them is kind of code challenge, and kind of impressed with the way they quickly think about solving a problem in less than 15 minutes or 20 minutes. Because an interview, there's a time for it.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's exhausting, right? If you go to a couple of interviews of those kind of caliber, you're probably going to be exhausted, right? Feeling about design, then you work about code challenge, then you worry about the personality. But what do you guys think about interview these days? What works? What doesn't work? What do you guys didn't like? What do you guys like?
So I think what works is the take home code challenge.
Yeah,
it's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you go to a company and they offer a take home code challenge, I think they take away the pressure, because like we've all been to like a whiteboard, and like the hey, you guys might be better than this at this than me, but I flounder at the whiteboard. I am not good at the whiteboard. I can solve problems. I can really hammer some cool stuff out.
Yeah.
But on the pressure of the whiteboard is unsurmountable for me for some reason. With the take home code challenge, it gives you an opportunity to like really think of the problem in your own time. And then deliver a solution. You can make it as elegant as you want. I think it's a good one. Well, Steven, I'm sure you're dealing with a lot of crazy interviews nowadays. Which ones have you liked and which ones have you not liked?
I do prefer the take home challenges as well. I'm definitely because I kind of goes back to like I am more than happy to build something or develop something for someone. Like you, I can struggle at the whiteboard every now and then. The ones that I typically struggle at the most, or when it's a live code, it's like generally it's when it's been online, and it's like I'm sitting here trying to develop, and either I can't see them or they're doing something like this, and they're watching me develop, and they're just kind of like there's nothing. There's no feedback. There's nothing. It's just like, okay, this isn't really an interview at this point. This is just me, taking a test.
Yeah.
I'm not really learning anything about you guys. So
yeah,
I also prefer the take home. I can whiteboard and I can do coding challenges. They're just sometimes they're not my thing. Every now and then, where it's just like, nope, this is going to go badly, and I know it.
So in opposite, I like the whiteboard challenge. I like to be in the middle of a bunch of people in an interview. So I can learn about the company and they can learn about me. But let me ask you this. It's an introvert, extrovert thing, right? Because we're developers. We sit at our home in our own desk, do our own work, and concentrate a lot of time by our own. An interview seems like it's a different skill set. You have to train to go to the interview. It's a different experience.
It is.
It does not reflect what you're really going to be really doing in real world. So it's something you learn. It seemed to me that it's different. It's another skill to have to be a good interview.
It is. I was talking to someone else that I know about this, and like interviewing is a skill.
Yeah.
It is.
Even to whiteboard is a skill, to do the code challenges is a skill, and to do like those are skills right there. But to be able to sit there and kind of just have a back and forth. I mean, I know developers who I feel like they've walked out of just interviews in tears because it was like that's just not something that they do or they don't want to do.
Exactly.
Definitely, interviewing is a skill, and I think everyone probably has done it where it's just like. Not saying I've done it now, but it's like there's a couple of practice interviews just to make sure like what am I doing? How do people interview these days? What kind of questions are they generally going to ask me? Or those kinds of things. just because it's like I definitely feel like not after NCR because everything was online and there weren't a lot of interview opportunities, but there's been a couple. It's like I think after before I left Georgia Pacific and before I left Park Mobile, it was like I interviewed with a couple of people and they were just bad because it was like I haven't interviewed in a while. I have no idea what's going on anymore.
Yeah, but it seemed like a skill we have to learn. It seemed like if you really want to get hired, sometimes you have to go through that exercise and learn the code challenge and the whiteboarding and learn a couple things.
When you talk about like the FANG companies, Microsoft.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, from what I understand, I haven't interviewed for any of them, but from what I understand,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's an 7-8 hour process.
Multiple days, 3 days sometimes.
Yeah, and it's just like, and it is whiteboarding. It is code challenge after code challenge. So, I mean, to your point, I think it is a valuable skill set to have.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing sometimes I feel like the useless questions that usually come, like you have to solve a puzzle. Like somebody will tell you, like, hey, there is 3 bags, one of them fruit of, blah, blah, blah. And you have to put your hands at one time and figure out what.
No, I actually.
Stuff like that. Brain teasers. I'm like,
I recently did that one, actually.
Yeah. Oh, you did? Okay, all right. I might know the company. And there's one with the light switch and all this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you know who they are because you don't usually have good things to say about them.
Even though I find it entertaining, sometimes if I solve one thing, I just wanted to hear the next puzzle. But
and I don't know who our sponsors are for this show, so I don't want to say it out loud because I don't want you to lose that.
It's a free show, my friend. You can say whatever you want.
Never mind. I'm still not going to.
Yeah,
you guys
I
have a question that's gonna make the internet mad.
Oh.
Ooh.
You're like, we're gonna be popular.
Are you
great?
You want to stand up an API quick?
Mm-hmm.
You go with Express or Flask.
So
the internet is gonna be mad. The one guy who watches this at 2:00 in the morning.
I would go Express, but I might be wrong. So.
I mean, you Python versus JavaScript. I'd probably say Express as well. Just if you're you just want to hammer something out really quickly.
NPM, blah blah blah, install it. And,
you guys answered incorrectly. The answer is Flask.
Really? Okay. All right.
Wow.
Not according to me.
Oh, okay.
Not according to me. I love Express.
Okay.
But I think there's a big movement for Python. I mean.
Oh yeah.
You see it everywhere. I mean, every time I look at a blog, it's it's how to do this in Python and like I'm building a React app with Python in the back end. There's a lot of love for it. Definitely a lot of love for it. So.
I just wonder why. I mean, I use it for my Raspberry Pi stuff and fun. Project.
It's the street cred, so you can say that you developed the Python. Other technical people will bow down to you and be like, "Whoa!"
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, if you can do what the enterprise has been doing with Microsoft and with bigger frameworks that are more robust and built for the enterprise. If you can do the same things with Python, there's definitely some street cred to be had for sure.
The only thing I agree with you. The only thing I saw in Python that I like if you want to manipulate Excel, it's a fewer quick command. Like you can command manipulate the book, the sheet, and the cells, and
I think you just kind of you're kind of hitting on why I think it is so popular is because it does have such a strength in the scripting world, but then all of a sudden here it is now in development. And you're like, I think it's easy for people to make that transition from, okay, I've used it for scripting, and now I want to use it for actual development. And of course, it's huge in like analytics and data science and those kinds of things. And
I feel like it's made it. Yeah, exactly. It's made for non-developer professionals, like scientists.
Yeah.
DBA, something is not a programmer, and I want to write something quickly in scientists or something like that. They're smart.
I know a lot of like physicists and mathematicians that's what they use when they're not because that's what generally because it's open source. There was a lot of higher institutions for higher learning. They're like, yeah, we'll use it.
Yeah,
that's fine, and so that's how a lot of them use it. But
and
it's open source, so you don't have to pay to use it. So why wouldn't you?
Yeah, and I think it talks to a lower language like libraries like C++. They can create things in different languages and eventually kind of talk to it through Python. But the only thing I like organized programming, right? You have a repo with some organized, well-architected code, and you can code review it and know what the heck you're looking at. And
who's making the internet mad now?
Yeah. I mean,
you're making me mad, Ahmed, because now I'm going to have to do a code review with you with Python. And I'm going to go build something with Python.
No, I mean, if you want
to see how easy it is to make an API with Flask.
No, I'm talking about enterprise. But if you want to do something quick and dirty for a small startup, I mean, by all means, just knock yourself out with Python.
You just the internet is going to come to your house.
Yeah, I know. They don't know what other.
Great quarantine now.
We're at the bottom of the technology podcast.
There you go. So one thing we don't know about Steve, he's actually an improv king, I would say. So can you tell us a little bit about that shit?
Yeah, tell us about that.
So I do improv, and I'm decent. Really, it was just I just needed somewhere to go to be creative in a different way and kind of burn off some
creative
energy that I definitely couldn't like just express it like NCR, because NCR is a corporate environment. They're even though they're laid back and they're cool and things like that, it's still a corporate environment. But so I worked with a guy at Park Mobile, and he was like, hey, I do improv. And I was like, oh, cool. And there was a theater right down the street from Park Mobile that I was like, they do class. And he's like, no, I do them here. I won't mention names again because Atlanta's a small market, small town, really.
But this will be podcast in Vegas, by the way, not.
Oh, well, then yeah. But yeah, that's just how I got started with it. Fell in love with it. Love to do it. This quarantine has really killed it right now because I'm used to being able to see a certain group of people all the time, and I haven't been able to. We try to stay in touch over Zoom and those kinds of things, but yeah, like I said, I do it. I like to just make stuff up off the top of my head and do crazy voices and things like that, and some people respond to it, and it sometimes it does help with my job and those kinds of things, because it's just like how to deal with a hostile group of people sometimes.
Yeah.
And like Ahmed.
Can you tell us that story of you on the boat out in the Gulf Coast back in '93 that you were telling me about earlier?
Me?
No, Steven.
Yeah, okay, Steven.
On the boat.
Yeah, I mean the water was blue that day in the Gulf, and there we go. We were hunting marlin, and damn it, I hate to be unprepared when we go fishing, Dom. I really do. I know we have a quota that I always want to hit, and if we don't hit it, I'm just going to be mad for the rest of the trip.
You get seasick. You get seasick every single time.
I know, but I take medication for it. But it's kind of like it's almost like an antibiotic where if you take too much of it, you just get resistant to it, and I think that's what's happening.
Now, was it your third wife or your third cousin that you were kissing on that boat?
It was both. Third cousin doesn't mean anything. It just means distantly related. It's fine.
Where are you from, Steve? Again?
Mississippi.
Okay.
Where it's fine.
Nice. Yeah.
Just kidding to all of our fans in Mississippi.
Very good. And actually, some of the smartest developers I know are from Mississippi, so they're good at something. My boss went to Mississippi, yeah.
Thank you for that, Steven.
No problem. I thought Ahmed had a story about the boat in '93.
No, I was like, what boat and what can I make up quickly? You know.
That's why I do improv.
Yeah. Talk about improv and fun stuff. Yeah.
Thank you.
So, what do you guys do for fun at home now, being quarantined? I mean, Steven is religious about not leaving the house, and then Dom is the same way. So, what do you guys do to keep yourself sane?
I do play video games every now and then. I try to read.
Oh, what do you play? What kind of games?
I play an MMO called Final Fantasy 14. I've been playing that for a while.
Okay.
I've also been playing a game called The Division 2, and then, like the rest of the world, I played a little bit of Animal Crossing on the Switch, just because it took the world by storm, and it was. You can also go visit other people's islands in that game, so it was another way for me to go out and interact with people. Anyway,
I don't think any girls watch this podcast yet.
No.
You don't have to say anything about Animal Crossing.
Ahmed, you lied to me. You said there would be.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. They're gonna fall in love with your glasses before they listen to what.
First of all, I would say like girls play games these days. Have you guys seen Facebook and all the gamers of the and Switch channel? There's a lot of
I know somebody who who's like huge into Fortnite, and they were on Twitch, and then they were modding on Twitch, I think, and then now they're at another streaming framework. I forget what they're called.
Different platform. I'm not sure about that one.
Wow.
Yeah, there's another one. There's another one that's like gaining ground on Twitch.
Oh,
Nice.
really? I
Yeah.
didn't know that. Huh.
But yeah, I think gaming isn't, like when we were growing up, it was, like it was definitely predominantly mostly boys. But I think now it's just everyone.
Yeah. This is awesome.
Talk about gaming. What's the first game console? Mine was Atari, way back in 80s.
The original Nintendo.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think my first game console would have
Xbox, right? Was it?
No, it would have been actually a Game Boy.
Oh, nice.
A Game Boy, and then eventually I got a Nintendo and then a Super Nintendo. But like the Game Boy was like inseparable.
It was
now we have these things, which are like
what are these?
analogous to Game Boys,
Yeah.
You
can put a Game Boy emulator on there, and it'll still be significantly smaller than any other app that you have on your phone.
That's right.
Isn't that crazy how much memory some of these apps use and like the stuff they request?
Yeah. My Game Boy emulator.
I'm not a mobile developer. If I ever go into mobile development, I promise, internet, I will not steal your data, and I will not eat memory.
Yeah.
That's a good promise. I don't want it. I don't want people's data. I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can have it, Ahmed.
Okay, I'll take it. So, Xbox.
Yeah, I'll take it. I'll sell it.
It's a new black oil, right? The data is important than oil now these days, especially with the oil prices going down.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this: Xbox or PlayStation? What do you guys prefer?
PlayStation.
Really?
I'm gonna have to go PlayStation. Yeah.
No, that was. I had a PlayStation. I made the jump from Nintendo to Sega to PlayStation. Never owned a Microsoft console. I play games on Windows, but never had any of the Xboxes.
So the only
Okay.
the only thing I said, the online gaming in Xbox seemed to be a little bit more rich.
I think they had it figured out more than Sony did in the beginning.
Okay. What about Dom? What are you saying? What are you saying?
I like PlayStation mainly for the peripherals. I really like my PSVR. I think it's fun. And they release content. I mean, they could release more content, but I think it's been a steady stream. Not that everything's been great, but I think it's neat that they went there. Where I feel like Xbox hasn't. And then it just, I don't know, it feels closer to a PC gaming environment. I mean, not that it's anywhere close, right? But like it feels closer to that than the Xbox does. Where the Xbox distinguishes itself, I feel, is like the UI is better. It's more streamlined. Like it's very pretty. Obviously, like the PlayStation UI. Not that it's ugly, but it's it's a little more difficult to navigate. Whereas
like VCR, like a VCR, it's not very second generation, third generation kind of thing, right?
It's functional, and you can do it
like a VCR.
That's at one point.
Huh? Yeah, that's the last PlayStation I played with looked like VCR.
I'm sure. You guys know about this? There was an HD. I want to say 720p VHS at one point.
Really?
Hold on. But Dummy's going to pull it up right now. So
No. This was a VHS. This was a VHS cassette.
And it was 720p?
I think so, yeah. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of content.
Let's fact check.
It was called DVHS.
Okay.
Really? Huh.
Let's see. Where's the chat? Here we go.
Yeah.
Check that out.
Okay, I see it.
Well, here, you know what? Here, let me pull it up and I'll share my screen.
Yeah, the only thing, be careful with sharing content in YouTube because we don't have the rights to it. So.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, we can all look at. You share the link, and we'll figure out.
I mean, that's not bad looking for 93.
1993, yeah, and that's a VHS tape.
Oh.
So speaking of working from home, one of the things that has changed for me is that I always have either a podcast or some random YouTube video playing in the background. And my favorite ones are like old school electronic, like videos about like random tech. So like discontinued game consoles, like this is a good example, the DVHS, and just all sorts of like miscellanea of electronica that has existed. And it's wild. I mean, one of the most interesting things I saw was how they would pirate the boards off arcade games. So those boards were very, very specific, and they were, I mean, some of the toughest DRM that has ever existed was on those boards.
Really?
Like after a while, they would just wipe themselves if you try to do anything with it. Like the pin diagrams on those things were difficult. It was pretty interesting stuff, actually. Like
that's why, like MAME emulators, it took them a while before they really picked up steam with that, just because it was just, I guess because of something like that, where it's like, oh, well, you want to play Mortal Kombat, we've got to figure out how to emulate that configuration for that board. Okay, it's pretty cool. Yeah. I never really thought about like what it would, if they would do something like that for those old arcade cabinets.
I know a guy named, he's one of a manager named Ben Shippens. He built his own game console. And he had that laser monitor. Have you guys seen a laser arcade?
No.
The image is so sharp. So it's a custom monitor. It was popular at some point, but it's laser based. And you can see everything so sharp in the arcade game. But I find that funny. I mean, his basement is like a man cave. Like a lot of arcade games. He built his own kind of boards and all this stuff. So I'll share a picture later because I help him move some of this garbage out. His investment. So.
Just call your boss stuff garbage.
His
that's
arcade.
Not go well for you.
I know.
That's not a good word.
I know. He's my friend too, so
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. Yeah. So, so what do you guys think about COVID? After COVID is done, you think there's going to be a big boom in the economy and more demand for IT jobs and stuff? What do you guys think?
I'm very interested to see what happens because you know I think there's a lot of people that are looking for jobs, obviously, so that makes I don't know how that's going to affect salaries. I don't know. I don't know. I think it's to be seen, but I think it's definitely gonna be interesting. I don't know that we're gonna go back to normal for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I also I'm hoping, and since a lot of companies who try to be technology companies, they seem they take cues from a lot of like the Silicon Valley companies and the big companies like Twitter and Google and all that. Since a lot of those companies are like, hey, or like, wow, we can be remote and still be productive. Guys, work from home whenever you want. I'm hoping that there's more of an adoption for that more work from home option right there, so that
I think
get back to it is like, oh yeah, you can come into the office if you want, but you don't have to.
Exactly. So who think is more productive at home? I think I'm more productive at home than in office because of distraction. But I do like to go to office because meetings and communication part.
Yeah, I don't know. That doesn't make sense to me what you just said. You like going for meetings?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I love meetings. No, so I like brainstorming and going to the board. That's the part that I like. But
those kind of those kind of meetings.
Yeah, but you can do it from home too. I've used for some of the meetings I'm doing, but I'm pretty sure there's a better, whiteboarding stuff out there.
Cool.
Yeah, but I think I'm more productive at home. What about you, Dom and Steven?
Yeah, I'm kind of 50-50,
Mm-hmm.
Kind of, I like the ritual of going to the office. I like interacting with my coworkers and seeing people. Plus, just the whole thing of having something to do that's clearly delineated and we've been doing for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think is important. I think in terms of productivity, I don't know that I found that one for me is more productive than the other. Sometimes if I'm in the office and I want to go home, like I'll bang something out so I can go home and I don't have to work later. Whereas if I'm at home and I feel like I have to do something, I'm going to hop on and do it. I don't know.
Yeah, like right before I was let go or furloughed or laid off or whatever the real term is for it is. I definitely noticed that I don't know if I was more productive, but I definitely worked more. It was definitely easy for me to be like, all right, I'm just going to keep working on this and I'm going to work on this and work on this. Oh, wow, it's already 8:00. Oh, well, I'm done for the day because why am I still online?
Yeah.
I definitely like to mix it up. Like, once we get back towards like wherever I end up at, it's like you can come into the office. I'm totally going into the office for a while because being stuck at home this long, it's like I'm starting to lose. I lose track of days very easily, and like I was very surprised that today was already Wednesday.
Yep, and weekends go quicker. Yeah.
Yeah. We're already almost through May.
Yeah. Wow, like 1 month and we're middle of the year, and this year has been gone. And it's 2020. That's a good number, right? Everybody gonna remember 2020. So, you guys think this gonna happen next year? We're gonna have another crazy COVID or some other virus coming up, and is it gonna be every 4 years, every 3 years? I'm not sure.
Well, there's a guy on Twitter who says he's a time traveler.
Oh boy, time traveler on Twitter? What?
Yeah. He tweeted out, I don't know, like in 2016, like, hey, enjoy things now because they're about to get weird or something like that.
That is weird, huh?
There's going to be another virus, but he thinks that there's going to be.
Wait, he thinks?
another outbreak, essentially.
He can't think he's from the future.
Well, yeah, that's right. That's right. Good point.
Dead giveaway there.
Oh well. I hope not.
Yeah.
But it's if it does happen, I hope we're better prepared for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we should be better. One thing I think we should keep the mask and the glove and the social distancing, right? Every time we have a flu season, everybody just go to the office, get everybody else sick. I mean, I think that's going to change, right? If you're sick, stay at home.
Exactly.
If you're sick, put a mask on in an elevator when you go out shopping. I think that's a good thing. Japanese are doing this already for years. I don't know why we're not doing it. So
I'm not sure.
all right, guys. Well, I think this is about the we can wrap it up for this kind of podcast. Anybody want to add anything or talk about anything or?
No, I this has been fun.
Yeah, it has, man. Yeah, we're doing more.
Nice meeting you, Dom.
Nice meeting you, Stephen. Next podcast, we should talk about the latest web trend, which is postbacks.
Right.
I was going to say,
new.
let's talk about the new. We could talk about Dino, which is the new.
Yes.
Yeah. Or
So wait, Dino over postbacks?
I don't know much about postbacks, but I was more excited about Dino. But I will look up postbacks now.
You know, like when you a postback.
Mhm.
And
I'm sorry.
on this is when you press a button and the whole page refreshes because it gets sent to the server and then the server sends back the page.
Yes.
So, you know.
I definitely want to talk about Dino now. But we can talk about postbacks as well. I will read up on them to talk more articulately about them.
All right.
Maybe. I might improvise.
Revising.
Improvising.
But yeah,
That's cool. We can talk about that. Yeah.
sure.
See you later.
Well, thank you very much, guys, and have a good night. And till the next podcast. All right, been fun.
Most of that.
So we're gonna be in YouTube. I'm gonna do some editing, and we should be there next week. Next.
Dom and I are even going to be in the final project.
We're gonna cut all this stuff out.
He's gonna cut us out. Yeah.
Just Ahmed talking for 30 minutes.
Exactly, and just flash back with you guys. Agree with me. Whatever party say yes and agree with me, there's gonna be there.
No.
All right, guys, it's been fun, and looking forward to next week. All right,
Take care, guys.
have a good night, guys. All right, bye-bye.